Evolving Illuvials will be a choice, but it won't always be the best choice. Stick around to find out everything you'll need to take into consideration when it comes to fusing your Illuvials together. Hi, my name is Najaf. I'm a time traveler, and I've been to Illuvium. I'm here to prepare all of you for this magical world. Your journey will be starting soon, so pay attention. You won't want to miss any of this. What we're looking at now is an animation from the official gameplay trailer. It's unclear whether this will be actual gameplay or is it just cinematic for the trailer, but it's an amazing visual of what it's like to fuse Illuvials together and have them evolve into the next tier. Evolution, do's and don'ts. So how to evolve. You're going to need 3 of the same Illuvial in order to evolve to get to the next tier. Most Illuvials will have 3 tiers, similar to how a lot of the Pokemon are set up. And you'll need 3 of the tier 1 fused together to make a tier 2. You'll need 3 of the tier 2 fused together to make the tier 3. So what happens when you evolve? So at its base tier 1 form, every Illuvial will have at least one of these 5 affinities and one of these 5 classes. When it evolves, it can either gain an affinity or it can gain a class. So by gaining affinity, what we mean here is it's not going to have a fire and an earth. It's going to become magma, which is, in a sense, fire and earth put together. So you could have one that starts as a fire and a rogue at tier 1, and at tier 2 it becomes a magma and a rogue, and then at tier 3 it becomes a magma and phantom, which is a rogue and a scion. So you'll see each time it's evolved, it will gain one of these. Now that you know what happens when you evolve, let's get into why you should evolve Illuvials. So why to evolve or why not to evolve? This is what we're going to touch on the next few slides here. So you have these to consider. The overworld, ranked, player versus player, Leviathan Arena, collectors, and sellers for profit. So when you evolve, there's an equal chance of any of the base stats of the fused Illuvials to the evolved Illuvial. So for example, if you're fusing together 3 Illuvials where one has really good base stats and the other 2 are crap, you have a 33% chance of getting an evolved Illuvial with those really good stats. And the same goes for when it comes to having a holo. If you have 1 out of your 3 Illuvials as a holo, you'll have a 33% chance of the evolved form having it. So if you're fusing 3 holos together, then that'll give you a 100% chance of having an evolved holo. There are something called a dark holo that will be in the game. There's an undetermined chance for that, but it sounds like the only chance you'll get outside of coming across one and catching one in the wild would be to fuse 3 holos, and there will be an unknown percentage chance of getting a dark holo. So there'll be 2 different modes of PvP, or player versus player. There'll be your ranked and there'll be the Leviathan Arena. These 2 are very different. In your ranked player versus player, all Illuvials, their base stats are normalized, and any tier of that Illuvial can be used. For example, if you have a Ramfy in ranked PvP, it can also be used as a Ramfire. And this is going to be the mode used to climb up the rankings. Now, the Leviathan Arena, the base stats do matter, what Illuvials you have do matter, and there's real money on the line. This is going to be for those players who are willing to spend the time and spend the money to get the best possible team they can get. Whereas the ranked arena is really going to prove who is the best strategically about playing the game. The Leviathan Arena is really going to show who's willing to spend the most time and money and still be the best at the game. There will be collectors out there whose main objective is to collect rare and all Illuvials. Some of the things they'll be looking for are perfect base stats as well as holographic cards. But most importantly, they'll be looking to have at least 1 of each Illuvial. So collector's guide. There will be players out there who are less interested in the player versus player aspect of the game. And they're just going to be your collectors. They're going to be looking for Illuvials with perfect base stats, holos and dark holos, or, any rare Illuvial out there. But one thing that they'll likely be trying to do is to just get 1 of each Illuvial in their decks. And when you think about that, when you think about fusing, if you need 3 tier 1s to fuse fuse to a tier 2 and 3 tier 2s to fuse to a tier 1, you're looking at 13 different tier 1s that collector will need to get. Because you're going to have tier 1, he's going to go to the tier 2. And if you look here, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. But don't forget, you also want another tier 2. So that's 9, 10, 11, 12. And then you also want a tier 1. So there's your 13. So yes, there'll be some collectors out there on the market who might just straight up buy a tier 3. But someone before them had very likely fused others together to get to that tier 3. So real world value. Do me a big favor and smash that like button and subscribe if you haven't done so already. In theory, 3 tier 1 Illuvials at similar base stats should always be worth equal or more than its evolved form. And the reason for that is that a tier 1 Illuvial has more use cases than a tier 2 Illuvial for its price. And when you think in terms of supply and demand, there'll be a greater demand for those tier 1 Illuvials than tier 2. Because there'll be a lot of players out there who want to focus on the ranked PvP. And in that game mode, they don't need a tier 2 and a tier 3. All they need is that tier 1. So there's going to be more people out there looking to pick up tier 1s than tier 2 and tier 3. Another thing is that if someone's out there playing and they caught 2 tier 1 Illuvials, they may not have the patience to go out and find that third one, so they might buy that third one on the marketplace to fuse with their other 2. Another thing that has to be considered when it comes to the value is that you have a 33% chance of getting any of the tier 1 Illuvials base stats to carry to the evolved form. So there's going to be some out there who are going to be risky and roll their dice on how good their evolved Illuvial will be, and there'll be others who are going to take the safe approach, and if they want a good tier 2 Illuvial, they're only going to fuse 3 good tier 1 Illuvials together. So in conclusion, choosing to evolve or not to will be determined by what your goals are for the game. But in general, if you have some with weak base stats, it says states here. If you have some with weak base stats, those are the ones that should be held or sold, because there will be people out there willing to buy weak Illuvials just for ranked PvP. And there'll be others out there who are just trying to collect one of each, and they'll be willing to buy it. The Illuvials that you should be evolving are the ones with strong base stats, and it would be either for you or others who are focusing on the overworld or the Leviathan arena, where those base stats and those evolved Illuvials do come into play. In addition to all of this, note that there will be more games made for the Illuvium metaverse, and each Illuvial could have a completely different use case and value in those new games. If this video will help you make a more informed decision when it comes to evolution, then I want you to comment down below and let me know what your personal strategy will be. As always, thanks for watching, and make sure to come back weekly for more videos just like this. Thanks.